Dr. Glidden, you're steadfast, advocate for naturopathic medicine, a free medical market, and the advocacy of healing therapeutics. Let me break it down for you. It all comes down to three things: socialization, stupidification, and legislation. Let's start with legislation. We haven't had a free medical market in this country since the early 1900s when, through the advocacy of the Carnegies and the Rockefellers, Congress granted the American Medical Association exclusive control over who could and who couldn't practice medicine. This was, in fact, a hostile takeover of the medical market, but it was sold to an unassuming American public as cleaning up quack medicine. It had nothing to do with that, and it had everything to do with securing the lion's share of the medical market. And that monopoly has maintained its position for over 100 years now, coming up on 110 years. It's a long time. It's before anybody that's alive now was born, before most people that are alive now were born. So everybody has been socialized into this system. They've grown up inside of the medical monopoly, which is so vast and so overarching that most people don't even know that it exists. People look around. The only medicine practiced in their hospitals is MD medicine. The only medicine their insurance pays for is MD medicine by and large. The only medicine that they make TV shows about is MD medicine. And the only medicine that they do research on at their alma maters is MD medicine. So in a situation like this, the average person would logically conclude that the MDs are everywhere all the time because they're better at what they do than everybody else. They're better at what they do than those quacks. And yeah, thank God for cleaning up the medical marketplace with quacks. This, however, this conclusion is incorrect because it leaves out the legislation part, which happened before anybody was born and which people are not taught in school. The only reason that the medical doctors maintain their position at the top of the medical market is because they legislated themselves there, and they're keeping themselves there through the unimaginable power, political persuasion, and money of the pharmaceutical industry. And remember, by pharmakia are all nations deceived. So medical doctors go to medical school and they're taught allopathic medicine. They're not taught medicine. Nobody is taught medicine. Medicine is a big umbrella underneath which many disciplines hang. So the MDs are taught allopathic medicine. And allopathic medicine argues that there's no spirit, there's no soul. Everything metaphysical is a fiction. If it can't be measured, it doesn't exist. The human body is a bag of biochemicals waiting to break, and when the human body does break, well, all you can do is drug it until you die, because you can't fix it, because if the body could fix it, it never would have gotten sick in the first place. That's how the logic goes. So under the care of allopathic medicine, which does not teach its practitioners how to cure anything, heartburn is never cured, it's managed. Arthritis is never cured, it's managed. Depression is never cured, it's managed. Insomnia is never cured, it's managed. Infertility is never cured, it's managed. Fibromyalgia, eczema, asthma. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's a non-curative medicine. And the socialization here is so complete that because everybody in the world, virtually, especially in the United States and Canada and the European Union, everybody goes to the MD. And because everybody goes to the MD, nobody gets cured of anything. So again, an uneducated, unassuming public concludes that life sucks, you get sick, and then you die. And that's just the way that it is, because look around, everybody's sick. Everybody's taken 2, 3, 4 prescription meds. Everybody's had their knees done. Everybody's had something. And everybody, again, is on more and more prescription meds every year. I mean, look around. This is just, sickness is the new health. It's the new normal. Everybody is sick. Not because life sucks and then you die, but because inside of the allopathic medical model, that's the result. You wouldn't believe the things my colleagues and I have seen our patients recover from. You wouldn't believe it. Because the naturopathic physicians, the homeopathic physicians, the Ayurvedic physicians, the chiropractic physicians, the botanical medicine practitioners attempt to cure the condition, which is a revelation to most people. Cure? What do you mean cure? You can't cure it. I mean, the American Cancer Society years ago even gave up using the word cure, and now all of their therapeutics are couched inside of 5-year survivability. So that means inside of classical oncology, allopathic oncology, if you're diagnosed with cancer and you die from cancer 5 years and 1 day from the diagnosis, that's considered a successful treatment because you survived 5 years. This is how nuts everything has become. And it's due to socialization, stupidification, and legislation. Let's talk about stupidification. The educational system here is horrible. Nobody is smarter than a 5th grader anymore. Years ago, when I was in the University of Massachusetts studying pre-med, somebody showed me a final exam that was given to high school students in the 1700s in New England. I come from New England. And I was unable to pass the test successfully. It was unbelievably complicated. Geometry, mathematics, algebra. It was beyond my ability as a pre-med student to be able to pass that test. And that was in the 1700s, for goodness sakes. So what happens here is that part of the socialization is that we have been brought up to believe incorrectly, but nonetheless it's an overarching belief, that the doctors are the smartest people in the room. That the pre-med students at school, those are the smartest people in school. And, you know, that's a whole different echelon of intellectual power. Now, the average person can't even begin to believe that they could rise to that level. This is what we've been taught, socialized to believe. And it's not true, ladies and gentlemen. After 35 years of clinical work as a naturopathic physician, most of the time being spent cleaning up the messes that the medical doctors have made in their patients who then get frustrated and become my patient. It's unbelievable. Which goes to the old adage, well, what do you call the person who graduates last in medical school? Doctor. But look, you probably shouldn't listen to anything that I say because remember, I'm a quack. Right? And by the way, the term alternative medicine, let's think that through. This is part of the socialization. This is part of the matrix that you're so deeply ensconced inside of, you don't even know that it's there. You hear the term alternative medicine all the time. Oh, you know, alternative medicine. You don't think twice about it. You need to think twice about it. Because saying that what I do or anybody who is not an MD is practices alternative medicine, you know what that's like? That's like saying, well, the only real dog is a German Shepherd and every other dog is an alternative dog. You wouldn't believe that. You would think that was nuts. But when you hear alternative medicine, you just think quack, quack, quack. Right? Right. Oh, by the way, for the icing on the cake of monopolization, the only thing that can legally treat a disease in the United States is a drug. Let me say that again. The only thing that can legally treat a disease is a drug. So if I discovered that dandelions cured liver cancer, the pharmaceutical industry would would push Congress to outlaw the growth of dandelions. No more dandelions. Can't grow dandelions. If you got a dandelion growing in your yard, you got to kill it. No more dandelions. The only people that can grow the dandelion, the only people that can extract the dandelion medicine is the pharmaceutical industry. Because the only thing that can treat a disease is a drug. I mean, absolute power corrupts absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. Since the medical doctors have been in complete, utter, total, and exclusive control over the development and the delivery of medicine since 1912, more or less, chronic disease is escalating. Everybody is sick. Bobby Kennedy knows it. Bobby Kennedy's going to try to come up with a solution, but the solution for it is already known. The solution for the chronic disease epidemic in this country, which profits the pharmaceutical industry more than we spend on national defense, is a free medical market. Because my colleagues and I, and the homeopaths, and the Ayurvedic practitioners, and the chiropractors, and the herbalists, and the acupuncturists, have been curing chronic disease for thousands of years. Which is why we were kicked off of the bus of medicine in the early 1900s, in order to secure the lion's share of the marketplace. And again, the socialization, stupidification, and legislation is why this is all here. Why it maintains. Your medical doctor could tell most people, most of their patients, look, in order to fix this kidney condition, you have to climb to the roof of the hospital and jump off, and most people would do it. Most people ask more questions about the car that they're going to buy or they're thinking about buying than the medical treatment that they're about to jump into willy-nilly just because their medical doctor tells them that that's what they have to do. And then, because of the monopoly, which is a self-policing, self-regulating system of medicine, by the way, when the treatments fail, which they do, the leading cause of death, either the first or the third leading cause of death in the U.S., depending on how you crunch the numbers, is MD-directed medicine. Leading cause of bankruptcy, MD-directed medicine. Why is that? Well, what's the most expensive type of medicine? It's the one that doesn't cure anything. So, your sister, your mother gets cancer. The medical doctor enrolls them into the cancer treatment. The cancer treatment obliterates their immune system. Their hair falls out, their teeth fall out, their mood completely changes. They can't sleep through the night. Oh, but we've got drugs for that. And then they die. And then the medical doctor brushes his hands and walks away and says, well, we did our best. And then the relatives are so grief-stricken that they organize a 5K run, raise $5,000, $10,000, and give it to the local hospital under whose care their loved one got cancer in the first place and who couldn't cure it, and who ruined the last year of that person's life with their ridiculous, juvenile therapeutics, dangerous and expensive therapeutics. But remember, you really shouldn't listen to me because I'm an alternative quack. I mean, right? So here we are, inside the Orwellian monkey house. The reason that you get sick, the older that you get, or the reason that you get sick in the first place is not because you have a bad gene. And by the way, that's the other part of the stupidification of the human race. Your medical doctor, you'll ask your medical doctor, well, doctor, why do I have, arthritis? Well, did your father have arthritis? Well, it's genetic. Oh, really, doctor? It's genetic. I'd like to know which gene on which chromosome is it that caused my arthritis. Could you tell me? When most people hear the term genetic, they cower in intellectual inferiority, and then anything else that the doctor says, well, fine by me. I'm in. It's not because you have a bad gene. It's not because you're getting older. It's not because of chemtrails, which are a very real thing, by the way. It's because you have a bad doctor. You have a doctor who's trained in a method of medicine which is insufficient to the cause. The only thing that MD medicine is good for is military field medicine and trauma care. Surgery when it's absolutely necessary. Now, most of the time, surgery isn't necessary. But the surgeon doesn't know that, right? Because all the surgeon knows is what the surgeon's been trained in and what the surgeon has seen over and over and over and over and over again. Like the fella said, when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So whether in point of fact you do need surgery, the surgeon will recommend, well, surgery. And here we are. Chronic disease through the roof. Everybody is sick, and everybody accepts it as normal. It's not. There is an entire world of medicine which is involved in developing and delivering therapeutics which are curative. Why don't you know about them? Because of socialization, stupidification, and legislation. That's why you don't know about it. Oh, it's time you popped out of the matrix, don't you think? It's time you took the red pill? Please, I'm begging you, visit my website, leavebigpharmabehind.com. You like the ring of that? I do. And look, just one thing by way of clarity. This is not a diatribe against drugs. Every time I'm in the dentist chair, I thank God for lidocaine. Right? It's not the drug, it's how it's used. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you are looking for another way forward, if you have pulled back the curtain and seen the man behind the curtain, the woman behind the curtain practicing old-fashioned, ridiculous, expensive, dangerous, non-curative medicine, and you're done with that, then you need to find a different way forward. And, well, I'm your huckleberry, and that's just my game. I will help you to find another way forward, and it's not through a private appointment. You just need a little bit of education. If you're smart enough to pass the driver's license test, you're smart enough to learn what to do to support your body's built-in God-given ability to fix itself. And all that information is lined up in easy step-by-step videos and training modules, educational modules on my website, leavebigpharmabehind.com. I'm begging you, go there, become a subscriber, learn and engage the healing therapeutics outlined there. They could, in fact, save your life and dramatically change the course of your future for the positive. I am now and always will be, God willing, and the creek don't rise, your steadfast advocate for naturopathic medicine, curative medicine, and a free medical market, Dr. Peter Glidden. See you around campus.